Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Beauxx Bombshell. Beauxx Bombshell is from Virginia in the USA. So let's see what him has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Yeah.
So hello
Yeah.
Bo, how are you?
Good. How are you, William?
I'm very well, thanks so much. It's been really warm in London today. The temperature is like, it just hit like the maximum in history. It's been really warm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm here in Virginia too. It's pretty hot. It's kind of humid.
Yes, the same here, the same. I think the British people, like everyone who lives here, loves the sun. That sometimes it can be really warm. Anyway,
Yeah.
good days.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
So tell me, you said you're from Virginia,
I am from Charlottesville, Virginia.
right?
Born and raised.
What's the best part of living there?
The best part of living in Virginia is actually the weather. I would say the weather is always, I mean, it's kind of been hot this summer, and like really humid, but like you get a good summer, you get like a beautiful fall with like all the foliage and stuff, and you get like, sometimes you get kind of a nasty winter, but like snow's fun if it comes and goes, but sometimes it's not. And then we get like a beautiful spring, you know what I mean? So we get like every season at like its best potential, I guess.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Bo?
What I do for a living currently, I work in a restaurant. I have like a bunch of gigs. So I work in a restaurant. My side hustle is like videography. I'm a social media manager for the school that I train at. So I'm also a professional wrestler, but I work behind the scenes too with the school. And pretty much all of that combined into one is how I make a living.
But you said that you work behind the scene of the wrestlers business.
Yeah. I've just stepped my foot in so I have my own YouTube channel, and it's about predominantly women's wrestling. I grew up always loving wrestling, and especially women's wrestling. And in the past about like 6 or so years, it's really changed and like grew, and it's become like even more popular, and it's become more of like mainstream and more like, instead of the, you know, side attraction, the main attraction. And so I started a YouTube channel about 5 years ago, almost to the date, about women's wrestling, and it's called We Watch Women's Wrestling. And from there, we would just like commentate and watch women's wrestling matches or like give reviews on shows and whatnot. And from there, in the past year, I've kind of fallen into the wrestling business. And now I'm wrestling, and I'm doing like content creating for a wrestling promotion. It's kind of like all this stuff at once. So it's been kind of a crazy ride. And I can't believe that I'm like wrestling now. I'm almost a year in of wrestling. And that's still kind of crazy to me that like to say, I can say now I'm a professional wrestler, you know, it's kind of weird.
And why the female wrestling? What's when you start seeing your YouTube channel, or you're passionate about wrestling? Why the female parts? For some reason, or
Oh,
not?
absolutely. So I got into wrestling at a very young age, like before I could even remember. My grandmother, she was a diehard, still to this day is a diehard wrestling fan. And early on, I was very I gravitated towards the female characters and the women characters and the more feminine characters, because I myself I'm queer. And, you know, as a young gay boy, I was like in love with the Spice Girls and Britney Spears and all these like strong feminine characters. To see like in wrestling such a male dominated sport, and especially back then, it was very different. It was very risque, if you will. A lot of just like using the women for their looks instead of their more physicalities. But yeah, I was drawn to it, and ever since then, I was just like, oh my God, I love these females that are so empowered. And yet, even though like they were given these sometimes controversial storylines and angles, and maybe their roles weren't always like, you know, PG or politically correct, they still came across as so powerful in such a like male dominated business. And I just connected with them. And I feel like it's because I myself I'm queer and like gay, and I was just like, oh yeah, like that. I was into that. Like that's what I was into. Ironically, my walls were like decorated with like scantily clad women in bikinis, and so it was like a very jarring thing when I was like a preteen teenager. But it was just like because I was like, yeah, I want to do that, you know.
I was checking your profile today actually a little bit, and I saw a lot of pictures of Britney Spears, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, he's a big fan. And also I like that picture that you created, her first album, Baby One More Time. You were sitting like, oh, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, very creative. I loved it.
Yes, I did that for I think it was the 20th anniversary back in 2019. I did it for the 20th anniversary of the album coming out, and I kid you not, I got the entire outfit from the Goodwill on one trip. I went in there like 2 days before we took the photo, and I was like, I got to get a jean skirt, a red button up, and then a white tank top. And I kid you not, I went in there and it was like bam, bam, bam. And I was like, heck yeah, like this is awesome. So yeah, I love that picture too. And shout out to my best friend Brianna for taking the photo. And yeah, it was awesome. I love Britney Spears. Like it's like beyond love. It's like unconditional love. Like she's like my second mom.
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Britney. I've been to her concert in 2004, Onyx Hotel.
Oh, see, I'm jealous. Like right there. Like I wish. That is probably the best live. That's probably her best concert, in my opinion.
Yes.
So
yes,
you better be grateful.
No, absolutely. And I remember was Rock in Rio, Lisbon, and actually you can see me in the audience at one point. I think it was the third song, and the camera just passed very briefly to the audience, and I just could pick myself because of the color of my shirt. It was literally the color behind you, actually. It was this color. But I went so fast that nowadays, when I go on YouTube, I can kind of put slow and I can just see very briefly. But yes, I was there in
my God,
2004.
That's amazing. I'm glad I got to hear that story, but I'm also like a little tidbit jealous. I'm like, God, I'm gonna have to go look that up now and see if I can see you.
And I'll tell you something now. And I remember at the time, not smartphone, I didn't have a I just have the normal camera. And guess what? I finished the whole set in the first song, Toxic, when she was coming with this, this umbrella.
Yeah, and down the stairs.
Oh my Lord, I was just like taking pictures, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have any more space here to take for pictures. But anyway, it was the performance, just like, wow.
Oh, you're so lucky. I'm like, I've gotten to see her live, but it was in Las Vegas on Halloween night in 2014. So it's kind of weird. It's like a 10-year difference, but it was still amazing, and it was great. We were in the pit. I was literally right on like the walkway. I don't know if you remember the Piece of Me show, but I'm literally right there, dressed up as a Playboy bunny.
Oh my God! And I remember one thing I remembered as well. It was she was the highest of her career. You know what I mean? The world was just talking about her, at the time. And she kissed Madonna as well. I was like, my goodness, I'm just seeing here Britney Spears. I couldn't believe it was an experience.
I wish. God, I wish.
Bo, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, absolutely. So ready.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? Random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Okay, Bo, so before we start the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? It's all very friendly, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what is one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
Watermelon.
That was a very quick answer.
Yeah, I was just eating it like 10, 20 minutes ago. Like I always have watermelon in my fridge.
Saying that, do you like cooking?
Do I like cooking?
Yeah.
No, I absolutely hate cooking. I mean, I actually, with a passion, I can't stand it. Which is, it sucks, but.
As a child, actually, watermelon was my favorite food. Still is. But back in Brazil, I'm from Brazil, And the
Nice.
taste of watermelon, I could never find anywhere else. I've been living in Europe for the last 20 years, and I never found the same, like this sweet taste of watermelon back in Brazil. It was just the best.
Oh, I'm gonna have to write that down. When I go to Brazil, I'm gonna eat the watermelon there.
Oh my God, yes, yes, for sure.
Yes.
Next one, let's do it. Next question for you is, what is your lucky number?
Oh, wow, it's so crazy you asked me that. My lucky number is 216.
Tell me why.
It's such a I can't believe I'm sharing this one here. This makes it even more meaningful to me, is that the number 216, it's one of those things where I started seeing that number years ago, and it was like, when people see like 1111, it's one of those numbers that I constantly see, and I started to look into it and research it, and long story short, I found that it's an angel number. And when you need guidance to know you're on the right path in your life, it's basically it'll pop up in your life repeatedly, just lets you know that everything's going to be okay and that you're on the right path. And I swear to God, William, ever since I started doing this whole wrestling thing, I have had moments where I'm like, what is this? What I should be doing? Why? I need a sign. And I'm not kidding. I don't know how spiritual you are, or whatever the word is, but I've seen that number, and I'm convinced that is that's what it is. It is there to let me know that I'm going to be okay. And especially in these moments where I feel like I'm lost or, off the path or whatever, it comes and it's so jarring and it's so obvious. And I'm like, all right, 216, there it is. And there's I've found so many more other weird things to do with the number, and it's weird. And this is just because I know you love Britney and we just talked about her, and I hate to bring this up because with everything, but February 16th is the day that she shaved her head, and it's just things like that. I've found so many things like that have a meaning to it, and yeah. So 216, all my friends know about it, and now you do too.
Oh my God, that's very interesting sharing that. Oh my goodness, you know what? When I was a teenager, before I left Brazil, when I came to Europe, and I went to astrologer. Yeah, so
Wow.
and this person told me, he was talking about numbers, and he said to me, William, 3 is your number, is your lucky number. And actually, before he told me that, I already knew it for some reason. And I told him, my goodness, it's so interesting saying that, because I'm being always connected with 3. And when I look back through my life, there's so many occasions that, and he said, it can be 3, 13, 20, 23, or 33. And I completely forgot about that. And the other day, I was a few months ago, I was just thinking about the some moments in my life, and the date was 13/3. I came to Europe on the 13th of March. And there's so many numbers connected to special occasions. My God, that's so interesting how those numbers affects our life, for some reason, bring some message along.
Yes, I totally believe in that, and yeah.
Wow.
I'm convinced now. It's not even a question.
Very good.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me about wrestling. As you mentioned before, that you grew up kind of having some contact with wrestling through your grandmother. But when you started, wrestling, when everything started in your life?
When I started wrestling was August of last year, so August of 2021, and it's so kind of wild that I honestly, maybe subconsciously. Well, actually, I feel like I did watching when I was young. I did want to be a wrestler like that. I wanted to wrestle. But as I got older and I realized that I was gay and all those things, and feminine and just not your average wrestler, I think maybe it kind of killed it for me a little bit in a sense. And I just was never nah. And I really never played any sports besides like recreationally, but I never did like any school sports or anything like that. And I was athletic, but I never was, like I said, doing like actual physical sports, like, consistently. So the whole thing to get into this wrestling school, I wanted to be like, their social media manager or a content creator or like a backstage person or just like even like maybe a manager if I were to have an on-screen role. And when I had gotten into talks with the school, they basically told me that they were like, well, we're having a tryout and you're going to physically have to try out despite whatever you want to do. Even if you don't wrestle, it's going to still be a physical tryout. And I was like, oh no, like, I don't know if I'm like willing to do that. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. Like, at least, hey, I can say I tried out for wrestling physically, no matter what happens afterwards. And so I showed up to the tryout and do the whole physical thing. The weeks leading up to it, I was really, really nervous, and I was like in the gym, and I'm like, all right, I gotta make my body change in less than 3 weeks, but you know how that works. And I got in there, did the tryout, and like the reaction and the reception I got was so, like, the coaches and the people there were like, okay, yeah, you should wrestle. Like, we think you should be in the ring. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And then like, I was like, okay, like, I think, all right, I'll do it. I'm going to give it a try. Like, and then from there, the last 11 months have been the most rewarding and yet challenging and yet amazing experiences of my life. Like, I never thought in a million years that when I did that tryout back in August, that in less than a year, I've already performed in New York, in Tennessee, in multiple states, and I've gotten like recognition from some of my idols. I never thought in a million years, like, doing this, I would be where I am at today, like, so soon. And it makes me even more, like, it validates me even more, like, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing in a sense. And I'm still in shock. Like earlier when I was telling you, like, in like the first 3 months, it was really kind of difficult for me to say like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. Like, I just felt really like awkward. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm a wrestler. I'm a professional wrestler. I've been training for 11 months. I'm Beauxx Bombshell. You can check me out on YouTube. Like, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, I'm in it now and I'm living it. So and that's how this came to be.
And how often is the training? Do you train every day? Walk me through a little bit about your daily base.
Definitely. So ever since August, I have trained pretty much twice a week, every week. I mean, there's been some handful of times here and there for other obligations, but for the last 11 months, I've been training Wednesdays and Saturdays for 4 to 5 hours.
Wow.
At times, yeah. Some days are harder than others, I will say. But it's, like I said, it's weird. It's addicting. It's really weird. I've always heard like other people that wrestled and wrestlers say how like you become addicted to it. And like, I was like, that's kind of crazy. But like, you do, like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but training is 2 times a week, anywhere between 3 to 5 hours on an average.
And I believe as well that physically it's a lot of, pain, and you use a lot.
Oh, yes. And what's wild is I walked into wrestling school weighing 240 pounds. I had my pandemic pounds on me. And now I'm like 175.
Wow.
I have like the cardio in the training has, just shed me. Like, the weight just was dropping off. I'm like, oh wow, like, this is great. But now I need to get like muscular. I'm trying my hardest to like not lose any more weight, but yeah, and everyone wants to be like, oh, like, wrestling's fake and all that stuff. But like, it's so not. It is so not. Like, I wish people only knew like the pain that goes into it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is very painful, and a lot of people go into it, first couple of times training, and I've seen it now over the past year. I've seen people just come and go, and they think it's gonna be, oh, what, taking a back bump or like landing on the ring, and you have to be trained how to land properly. But that first back bump you take, where you just like slam your back into the ground, and you do it properly, like eventually you'll do it properly, so it kind of, they say, expunges the pain throughout your body, but it still hurts. But yeah, that first back bump in those first couple of like sessions, I remember coming home like, oh my God, like, no, like not, what is wrong with these people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? And then like, now look at me, I'm out here like still doing it. So clearly I must like it.
Amazing, very good. Next question for you is, if you could do something illegal without getting caught, what would you do?
Oh my God! Is
Look
this
your face?
Is this are you trying to catch me up on here? I'm gonna give like a very generic answer and be like rob a bank or like rob some money from not from an individual, but like from a corporation. Like be able to like launder money out of like Amazon is what I would like to do and not get caught.
Something that will change your life forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I would like to go and like literally beat up, like physically fight the people that like put Britney Spears in a conservatorship and get away with it.
Very good answer. Very good answer. I think it's so beautiful to see her living her life now the way she is. Oh my God.
No words.
I think not just her, but I think all her fans and people around her, or people even, you know what I mean, who likes her, they were free as well. They felt like, okay, my God, she's free now.
Yeah, it's such a long time coming. It for so long. And I mean, you know, obviously, like I'm an obsessed, crazy fan. Like I have been feeling that Britney Spears was unhappy doing anything since like 2011. Like it's been very clear for a very long time that like she was kind of done being Britney Spears and being these people's puppet. And I just can't believe, like, it is still kind of shocking that like she is free and like we're in this new era of like her like finally getting to do what she wants to do at 40 years old. And like it gets me like a little emotional because I'm just that crazy, but I really am so happy. And I just love every day getting on Instagram and like she's just doing whatever, and I live for it. So happy.
Imagine her watching this interview right now and she's gonna go like, wow. Imagine.
I would die. I'm so waiting for the day that I get to like interact with her in some capacity.
Amazing. Next question, let's do it. Next question for you is, what's your idea of a perfect day?
Oh, my idea of a perfect day. It would definitely be like something, and I guess it would depend on this weather, but it would definitely be like something like I feel like the perfect date would be like having a picnic like in like a beautiful park, and like each of you guys bringing something, food, beverages, and then having like, just a good old fashioned like picnic where you just like hang out. And I say that because I'm thinking like summertime right now. It's like outside and like beautiful weather. But yeah, I think that's such like my like typical perfect day would be like a picnic. We both bring food and drinks and we sit and we talk and we get to know each other.
Are you most of a day or night person?
Night. Yeah, I mean, not that I want to be, but it's just how the roll of the dice, I guess. Because I don't want to be a night owl. I don't like. I want to be an early bird, but it's not my DNA.
And always being like that.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I see. Hey, next one. Let's do it. Before the next question, in your opinion, being a gay boy, did you always have the support of your family? And also, in the wrestling world, what's the approach of gay people? It's easy for gay people to be around or wrestling, and what there's any difference, or you feel like safe, you can be yourself? Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh, such a loaded question, and I love it because I love talking about this being all that. So My family, luckily, I honestly have had such a good support. I mean, I wouldn't say the greatest, but I didn't have it bad. Like my mom is like my rock, and I was predominantly with her most of my growing up. And she has been nothing but supportive. All my youth in my teens, up until the point where I came out. It's just very funny because I didn't come out to my mom until I was like 21, which is so crazy. Like I say that I'm 30 now, so it's been 9 years. But like I should have came out to her like when I was 7. You know what I mean? Like I was that kind of like queer boy, and like she knew. But it's so funny. I waited so long. Just that's how it happened, and I'll never forget when I told her. And it's such a funny long story, but when I told her, she was like, damn, you were holding out for so long. I was starting to think, well, he might be straight. I might have this all wrong. No, but she's been such a great rock. It's not the same case with my dad, but me and my dad have come to, we're in a good place. It's been rocky with him, and he has his own, trauma from when he was younger. And I recognize that now. And it's as I've gotten older, I've realized that like, yes, it's homophobia, but it's also coming from a place of like trauma that he suffered with and, in his own life, mixed in with all these other factors. And at the end of the day, I really do know that he loves me, and that's that. And as far as like grandparents, my grandparents have been awesome. Like pretty much all my family has been like, I've been blessed in that realm. I mean, there definitely have been some hardships, and like I said, there were some times, but overall, I'm thankful for like the family that I like, for them, let me be me pretty much. And, loving me and supporting me. Now, as far as wrestling goes, that is been something that's, obviously weighed on me before getting into the business. It made me extremely nervous. And on my tryout, I remember being like, I got to gay this up. I got to walk in there and they got to know immediately what they're dealing with, because I'm not taking any BS, and I'm, and this is how it's going to be. So I never got my nails done, and I had them like glitter sparkly. I like walked in, I like put on some I was just trying to make myself like even exaggerated so there would be no ifs, ands, buts about it, because ironically, I still get, now that I have longer hair and whatever, but I still get like when it comes to strangers, like, isn't he? It's kind of weird, but I wanted to make sure, like, here we go. And to be honest, the family that I've grown to know at Star City Pro, it's where I train, they, especially the coaches, I won't say the students so much, but the coaches have been so welcoming, so accepting, and so have made me feel like 100% comfortable. And that's been since day one. I've never had like a moment where I felt like it was in any way ill towards me. You know what I mean? It's just, they've been very, but as far as like the other students go, there have been some challenges with maneuvering around with like interpersonal skills with other people that are, everyone's different. I get it. But as far as the wrestling goes, like as in going out to these shows, and I'm in Virginia, so I'm technically in the South of, the South, and I've performed in a lot of places in the South. And not a lot of places, look at me thinking I'm like, I've most predominantly performed in like Bristol, Tennessee and West Virginia. And yeah, the reaction has been, it's been all over the place. But something that kind of bothered me in the beginning of all of this was because of the environment I'm in, or where I'm performing, and because of who I am and how I present myself and the character and everything, and even beyond the character, who I am, there was a lot of pushback on, well, you have to be the bad guy. Since you're queer, you're the bad guy. Queer wrestlers are bad, just automatically, because they are going to get heat, which is like, the crowd booing you and hating you. And I look around, and there are, other queer wrestlers in the wrestling in the South, and they're all bad guys. They're all portrayed as like heel villains. And I'm just like, in the very beginning, I made it very clear, like, who Beauxx Bombshell is and who I am is like the good guy, the underdog. And I don't see why, because I'm gay and queer, I have to be an evil character. Why are you trying to villainize me? Because of my sexuality. And it's such a cheap thing. And I know wrestling is very stereotypical, but why can't I, it's 2022, why can't I be the good gay guy wrestler? Like, why can't we change it? And I've had a lot of pushback with that. And honestly, I've been able to get my way most of the time of being like, no, we're going to go out there and do that. And it always isn't the best. The crowds aren't always, they're not always like supportive. There are going to like, there are homophobic and like very bigoted people in these crowds. But for the most part, it's been, I do go out there and I get a great reaction and they're cheering me and they're loving for it. And it's like, you know, and sometimes it's like the yes queen and that, but that still is like, I just think about like the kids that are in the audience, like why is every time they see a queer character in wrestling that has to be a villain? Like, we need to show them that it's not that way all the time. And we got to kind of get away from that. It's very just kind of like basic and whatnot. So yeah, I've had a lot of pushback with that. And I'll never forget my debut was in West Virginia. I don't know if you know anything about West Virginia, but it's like the butt of all jokes when it comes to the States of being like honky tonk and hillbilly. And I'll never forget, I like wanted to be the face, which is the good guy. And I wanted to come out there and be the face. And like, even the coaches were like, Damien, it's West Virginia. And I'm like, I know, but I want to go out there and I'm going to like, whatever, like, let's just see. And I come out there, my full get up and my music hits and I do like this little Britney number and I'm like, bam, and I pose and like the crowd was like, did not know what to do. They were like, and all I hear is, what the? And I was like, oh my God, sell it, sell it. And I did my thing. And you know, the women were cheering me and the kids always cheer me. It's kind of, I love that. And, but yeah, there were definitely the hecklers. And I've had some heckling people in these audience that are saying the most vicious things. And I'm just like, good God. But overall, it's been great to see and like experience. And like you said about the safe, like having a safe space. Sometimes I don't think that the coaches and the other guys that I train with understand where I'm coming from when they're saying, oh, we're going to be in this, you know, podunk town, Virginia. And I'm like, like I'm having my, you know, I'm like, I don't really know. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, I got to make sure it's going to be a safe space, not only in the arena, but backstage with the other guys, because I've had that too, where I'm backstage in these locker rooms and you get these very like, just homophobic tendencies of people. And I'm not back there to like check anybody out. I'm not back trying to get a boyfriend. Like, it's not like that. I'm there to perform and wrestle just like you are. And I'm super friendly and I'm so personable. And usually it's been like 80% the backstage locker room, great. But there are those certain moments with people that I can pick up on. I mean, my whole life, you know, but.
I'm so glad that you are sharing that, Bo, because, you know, imagine how many people watching this interview right now and they're going to go like, you know what, to be honest, you're saying that and you literally educating me about it. You know what I mean? Knowing that, because I never thought about that. That's maybe, you know, the audience would look you just the way you present yourself, or as you said about you come this Britney music song, you know what I mean? So Britney's song. So I think that's it's important you saying that, because for sure people will appreciate. Maybe they are in the same situation as you or you faced before in the past. So yeah, amazing. Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
In the end of the day, you are open people's minds. For some reason, you have this, you know, approach of, you know what, let me myself, let me cut down a little bit of the stereotype, you know what I mean, of the queer wrestlers. Let me be myself. And I'm sure you are literally helping people to open their minds.
Yes, I can attest to that. Like I've after these shows, I've had like these moms come up to me and they're like, oh my God, you were like a breath of fresh air. We need more of that. Like it was so just something different. And then I've had people message me on Instagram ever since I started training, other queer individuals. And they're like, you doing it makes me feel like I can do it. And honestly, at the end of the day, no matter what success comes from this, that is probably my greatest accomplishment, is that if I'm out here shining my light and doing what I like and being me fully, and, you know, like I said, opening people's minds and inspiring other people to have that courage, hands down, it's worth it just for that.
Absolutely. Next question for you is, what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show, Sex in the City. I'm gonna be so basic, but it is like I would say Sex in the City, or I'm trying to think of shows I watched constantly. It would be I literally watch Sex in the City or The Parkers.
Say about Sex in the City, which character do you connect the most? That you see yourself there?
Oh, that's a tough one. So I want to say Carrie because I feel like a main character type of bitch. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, after watching it, I've watched the series more times than I like to admit. My favorite character is Miranda.
Interesting.
Yeah,
why?
I love Carrie, but if you watch it over and over and over, she's really selfish and not the greatest friend to the girls, and very kind of narcissistic. You know what I mean? She's very self-centered, and it like the more you watch it, you're like, damn. And of course, I love Samantha, but I would say my favorite is Miranda.
I have 3 gay friends that we came to London around the same time. They're Brazilian as well. And sometimes when we get together, together, I remember talking about that. And a few years ago, they were like, William, you are Samantha for sure.
Yes. Okay. Come on, William.
And I was like, why is that? So I was like, because it's just you. When I watch this series, just you talking, like the way she talks, the way she behaves herself.
Oh, she's like in a league of her own.
It's a shame that they actually didn't get, you know what I mean, back again. They could, do another show. But anyway, it meant to be this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for another one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next question for you is, what do you like the most about your best friends?
What do I like the most about my best friends? That we are soulmates, really. Like, I feel like my 2 best friends are people that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life because we are like twin flames, if you will. You know what I mean? I feel like I love the genuine human connection that I'm able to have with them. I don't know. I'm like lost for words, but like my favorite thing is that we are just so close and we are so matured in our relationships, and that we're so just
connected.
Right. Yeah, connected.
Saying that, what's the biggest difference between you and your best friends, and what's the biggest similarity?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the biggest difference would be that it's kind of like that yin and yang, where I can be like a really extreme extrovert and be just open and bubbly. And I like my best friends are sometimes predominantly a little introverted and a little, kind of mellow, taken back, so that would be like the difference. The similarities would be that we're just, at the end of the day, good, honest people.
Very good.
Like, there's no BS,
I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Okay.
Right.
I love the music.
Before the next one, tell me your top 3 favorite songs of Britney Spears.
Oh, okay. So definitely number 1, Give Me More. Number 2 is no. Number 2 is Hold It Against Me.
Uh-huh.
And number 3, there's so many. I'm gonna say Perfume. I know it's a very weird top 3, but yeah, I'd have to say those are the ones that I probably like listened to the most when they came out.
I had one of the most mine.
Yeah, what are your top three?
Okay, so let's toxic. For me, toxic is just like wow, you know what I mean? I love toxic.
Yeah.
I love a lot of let me see. Oh, boys, you know, there's
Oh, yes. I love
it's
that
very
album.
it's very catchy. And Baby One More Time. I just love it.
Okay. Nice.
Just love it one more time. As you mentioned about Spice Girls as well, what's your favorite song of Spice Girls?
My favorite song of the Spice Girls is, oh, that's so hard because I'll have to say You'll Be There, but I really, really love the song Viva Forever.
Oh, it's the sound of it is so peaceful, isn't
Oh
it?
God, that just takes me like, it just takes me there, you know? But
Oh,
Say You'll Be There is probably like my favorite Spice Girl song. That song was just like listening to it now, like back then I was like, you know, a small child and it's like boom, boom. But listening to that song now, that song is like hot. The it was just so, I just love that whole, like, I love the production of that song. Like I always have, yeah. So.
Right. How would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
Okay, a perfect, healthy relationship. Communication is key. And boundaries. You have to have boundaries and respect those boundaries, and have communication. Like the minute you start not telling somebody how you're really feeling, or if there's something you're needing or wanting and you're like not like communicating with them, how are they gonna know? How are they gonna know? They're not gonna know because you're not communicating. And I feel like a healthy relationship is literally communication and boundaries.
Are you in a relationship right now? Are you single?
I'm single.
So somebody watching the interview would be interested to get your heart. What this person must have?
That person must have, oh man, that person must have a really good understanding of who they are.
What an answer. Wow. Yeah. There we go. The message out there.
Yes, there it is. Because I'm on that path of getting to know and becoming exactly who I am. And I just feel like if you're not with somebody else who's on the same journey or growing to, you know, be their authentic self, then what are you really getting yourself into?
Sure. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, people would like to start a career as a wrestler, you know, performing as a wrestler. What would be your best piece of advice?
My best piece of advice is find a place that you can train where you feel comfortable. I would reach out to somebody who's already doing it and get some tips from them and do it with a couple people. Just get some tips, some advice, specifically. And then from there, find yourself a place where you can train or at least see what takes place and, you know, find your little family, I guess, and then see if it's going to work for you and if you feel comfortable there with those individuals and if it's, you know, professionalism and all that good stuff. So yeah, but I would definitely reach out to people who are already doing it and just get some tidbits and advice and take it from there. And let go, like anything performing wise, let go all of those, like let go of the self-doubt, let go of failing because you're gonna fail. Like it's not, you're not gonna just overnight be, you know, the next, you know, John Cena or Trish Stratus or whoever. Like it's gonna fail. So be ready to fail in trial and error and just don't think it's just gonna all come so naturally. And maybe it will, but I mean, yeah.
You need to be prepared for that as well.
Yes, be prepared to fail and get up and try again.
Sure. Next question is, would you rather be invisible or be able to fly? And what would you do?
Oh, definitely be invisible. And I would spy on everyone. I think that's what I would do. I would be invisible and get all the tea behind closed doors.
Ooh.
And then use that to my advantage.
And after that, you would do like a book of your experience.
Oh
Imagine.
yeah, just write it all in a book, and they'll be like, "Well, how did he know that?" And I'll be like, "This is all not. This is fiction, but really, it'd be nonfiction."
The bestseller for sure. Number one bestseller.
Yeah.
Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Last question. But before the last question, what Beauxx Bombshell brings differently? People gonna come to watch you. What Beauxx Bombshell is gonna bring, like, to the performer that no one can bring it?
I'm definitely going to bring the heart of an underdog, and I'm definitely going to be able to bring this fabulous essence and genuine essence to the ring. Like, I really do feel like I bring this very genuine, very relatable persona. Very, I connect well with the people in that sense, where it's like I'm just the guy next door, but I'm out there like trying to be the next best, the next biggest thing. And I think that inspires a lot of people. A lot of guys come out there and they want to be, I'm tough and you can't get in here with me. And you know, it's a little unattainable sometimes. But I feel like I'm super approachable and I'm just fabulous and cute and spunky. And I feel like people are like, yeah, like that lady said, a breath of fresh air. Especially in this circuit down here.
Beautiful. Last question for you is, what makes you most uncomfortable about yourself?
Most uncomfortable about myself? Oh, goodness, what a question. I would have to say what makes me most uncomfortable about myself is I'd have to say sometimes my self-doubt. I would say my like paranoia or self-doubt or feeling like I'm not good enough. I feel like that makes me uncomfortable sometimes when I almost like psych myself out of things or my abilities when I don't need to, because we don't need, I don't need to do that. I don't need to have self-doubt, and I don't need to feel like, I'm not good enough. And yeah, so self-doubt makes me feel uncomfortable.
And when you find yourself in this state of mind, what do you do to turn around and put you in a different place?
I usually like to go to the gym and get on the Stairmaster. I really do, or go for a walk. Like I will go for a walk if I start to get like that, and I just can't can't stop the dominant negative thought patterns. I will go for exercise. And it's not, I'm not in there pumping the iron. I'm just like I said, a Stairmaster or going for a walk, leaving my phone and just kind of going and being like, all right, look around. Everybody's doing everybody here, so it's good.
Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Big thinking.
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Okay.
Family.
Matters.
Money.
Shane McMahon.
Love.
Valentine's Day.
Life.
Beautiful.
Politics.
Not beautiful.
Religion.
Messy.
Fear.
Control.
Friendship.
Needed.
Desire.
Cherries.
Regrets.
Regret. I don't know why, but I'm like donuts.
Success.
Beaches.
Wish.
A fairy.
Happiness.
Nature.
One word for Virginia.
Home.
One word for USA.
Struggling.
One word for Beauxx Bombshell.
Charismatic.
And the last one now, wrestler. One word.
Superstar.
Good one. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Beauxx Bombshell? And what's something that he needs to improve on, to work on? What your best friend would say?
I would say the best thing that they would say is my genuine spirit.
Okay. And something to improve on?
That I need to, oh my God, improve on. Stop trying to please people. Stop trying to be a people pleaser. I've actually been told that by both of them.
Is there any difference between Damien and Beauxx Bombshell, or they are the same in the end of the day?
I would say that there isn't much of a difference. It's just Beauxx Bombshell is like the exaggerated version of what Damien always saw himself as. Yeah, I would say that it is hand in hand, but it's just Beauxx Bombshell's the exaggerated, more eccentric, fearless alter ego of what even little Damien always envisioned himself being.
Interesting. Right, let's play now Beauxx Bombshell, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so since we talked about it earlier, and you are from the UK, and I'm happy you didn't ask me this because like you were asking the question, I was like, oh crap, he's gonna say the thing I wanted to ask him. Who is your favorite Spice Girl?
Wow. Okay. You know, I'm quite confused about their names. Yeah, I always get confused about Melon C, Melon B. You know, I think it's Melon C, the black one, isn't she? It's the black one.
Mel B.
Mel B. Mel B. Okay. For some reason, I always liked her. The way I think when I watch her, you know, their concerts, their music, there's always something about her that she puts all of them together. She goes around the stage. She always kisses one of them. She's holding their hands. She gets all together. She's the one always pulling, you know, them together all the time. So I always realized that, even though I didn't know much about them, but all the time when I watch something about them, she's the one of interacting, but then together. You know what I mean? She's always got my attention, and her energy as well. I think
she has the energy.
Oh my God, it's just like, wow, she gets the whole attention, I think, you know, when they are performing, because she got this, you know, sparks of like shining. I don't know. It's something about her that gets my attention. Melon B, for sure.
I love it.
Bombshell, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the show?
I did. I really did. I appreciate it so much for you having me on here, and I love the music, and I just love the whole. This has been great, and it went so quick. I thought it's been amazing. I absolutely love this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thanks for being sweet and kind as well. And actually, on the word association game, just another word came to my mind. Britney Spears, one word.
Legend.
Wow, amazing. Before we finish the show, Beauxx Bombshell, can you share, let's say that you have the attention, the whole world now to you, the whole world is watching you right now, and you could leave a message to everyone, what would you say?
Well, to quote the great RuPaul, If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love anybody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Amen. That's what
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think for you to spread love or to share love, you need to love yourself first.
Absolutely.
Only way.
Hands down.
Well, Michelle, thanks so much for the interview. It was a pleasure, and keep in touch, okay? Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.